So this video will show you how to create a burn-up chart. Having selected the TFS collection and the project that you want to do the burn-up chart for, the next thing to focus on is the iterations. You can either choose all the iterations or choose a specific one, in this case the one that we're just coming to the end of, which is release 2. If you want to narrow it down by area paths, then that's possible as well. But in this case we've got bugs and product backlog items, and we're going to load the data. So the data is now loaded, and we can hide this selection panel up at the top with hide here, and we can see that actually it's right towards the end of this project. We've got a few more days of work to do, and there's the today line. Now the next step of setting up a burn up for your team would be to come in and change some of these variables that are specific to this chart. So we could, for example, sample every 5 days instead of every 14 days. We could change the beginning date of this to something like July when we started it, apply those. Another key thing to look at is your definition of done as a team. So which of these states meets your definition of done? In our case, live client is one of those, as is ready for deployment and live demo site. So that to us means that we've done the work. So I've selected those, and over on the right hand side I can decide how much history from the throughput and the scope that I want to use. So in this case we're using 75% of the history of the project in order to calculate the mean for throughput settings. And below here we've got 0.15 standard deviations from the mean for our optimistic line and for our pessimistic line. So that's going to determine the projections. On the scope side, this shows the rate at which the increase in scope is decreasing every 5 days. So every 5 days the rate of increase is going to go down by 10%, and that'll end up giving us a bit of a curve. So here I can apply these settings, and we can see what that has on the chart. So now we've got the data back, and this shows quite clearly a couple of points. One is that we've got the scope increasing at a similar rate to the completion rate of our project. And one of the benefits of this way of working, or these charts, is that we can click on individual blobs and see what is the data behind it. So if I click on that, I get to see all of the PBIs that are within scope, those that have changed. This is filterable, this table. You can type ahead in here. For example, if I have a particular word I'm looking for, it'll filter on that word. I can filter on the left hand side as well, and I can download this into Excel and work with it. Also, I can drill into the PBI within that that refers to, and I can read it straight away in TFS. So that's one element of interaction. Another thing that's quite useful is to show the number of bugs that we have in our backlog. So we can see here the total column length is the number of bugs, and the red are the unfixed bugs and the blue are the fixed bugs. So that's quite an interesting trend to be able to see. I can toggle this chart data off on here, so the data tells me exactly what I used inside to create this chart. So if I was to create a copy and paste this into a PowerPoint, for example, you would see the settings that I had, but I can hide that if it's getting in the way. And I can also have a look now at the number of unestimated PBIs in the backlog. This is written off the right-hand scale, and the purple ones is the number of proportion of bugs of PBIs that are unestimated. So that's pretty much the highlight of this chart, the main points of it. Looking forwards, I can see the two projected lines for throughput and for scope, and I can see that this is imminently about to finish, hopefully before the end of 2015. So thanks for your